families, and APS students. Welcome to At Home with APS. We are so happy you've joined us this week, and we hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, first graders. Today we will work on blending and adding sounds to a word to make a new word. Here's our example. I will chop sounds, and then you will blend them together to make a real word. Here's our example. B-A-K-er.
Bigger.
P-L-A-N-T.
Plant.
K-L-E-N.
Clean.
F-L-O-T.
Float.
G-R-A-P-S.
Grapes.
B-R-A-K.
Break.
K-R-A-M-S.
Crumbs.
Great job. Now I will say a word, and then we are going to add a sound to the beginning to make a new word. Here's our example. Say rail.
Rail.
Add t at the beginning. And what word is it?
Trail.
Mile.
Mile.
Add s.
Smile.
Rack.
Rack.
Add k.
Crack.
Wrap.
Wrap.
Add t.
Trap.
Rise.
Rise.
Add p.
Prize.
Lock.
Lock.
Add b.
Block.
Lake.
Lake.
Add f.
Flake.
Hi, first graders. Mrs. Kavalevich here from Randolph Elementary. Rashid and I are here today to share a special poem with you. The title of the poem is I Have a Little Frog. Are you ready to read it with us? Good. I'm going to use a ruler to help me point to the words while I read. You can use your finger or something else that you have at home to point to the words to. Let's get started. I have a little frog. I have a little frog. His name is Tiny Tim. I put him in the bathtub to see if he could swim. He drank up all the water. He gobbled up the soap. And when he tried to talk, he had a bubble in his throat. Great job, first graders. I noticed something while we were reading that poem. I heard some rhyming words, some words that sound the same at the end. Did you hear those too? I know Rashid did. Let's go back and read the first stanza of the poem together. Listen carefully for rhyming words, and then we'll underline them. I have a little frog. His name is Tiny Tim. I put him in the bathtub to see if he could swim. Do you hear those rhyming words? I heard the word Tim. Tim. That rhymes with swim. Tim and swim rhyme. They sound the same at the end. They both have im at the end of their word. Can you think of any other words that rhyme with Tim and swim? Oh, I just thought of one. Kim. I have a friend. Her name is Kim. Kim rhymes with Tim and swim. Can you think of any other words that rhyme with Tim, Kim, and swim? Maybe you're thinking of another name, the name Jim. Jim rhymes with Tim, swim, and Kim. Well done, first graders. Let's go back and read our poem another time. But this time, why don't we try it in a different way? Why don't we try to sing it together? Ready? Okay. I have a little frog. I have a little frog. His name is Tiny Tim. I put him in the bathtub to see if he could swim. He drank up all the water. He gobbled up the soap. And when he tried to talk, he had a bubble in his throat. Great job, first graders. Why don't we try singing it again? But this time, why don't we try some motions? You can make up your own motions to the poem, or you can do the ones along with me. Ready? Get your frog ready. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. I have a little frog. His name is Tiny Tim. I put him in the bathtub to see if he could swim. He drank up all the water. He gobbled up the soap. And when he tried to talk, he had a bubble in his throat. Well done, first graders. Pat yourselves on the back. Now I want to do one more thing with our poem. I want us to go on a word hunt. I want us to look for some sight words or snap words that we know. I'm going to use a crayon to circle my words. You might want to use a crayon or a pencil or something else that you have at home to circle the snap words that you find. Ready? The first word I want us to find is the word his. His name is Tiny Tim. Do you see it in the poem? Let's find that word his. His name is Tiny Tim. There's that word his. Let's circle it. Oh, Rashid just whispered something to me. He said I should look carefully at the last line in the poem. He had a bubble in his throat. Ah, look at that. There's the word his again. Thanks, Rashid. The next word I want you to look for is the word have. Have. I have a little frog. Do you see it in the poem? I have a little frog. Good job. Let's circle it. How many letters do you see in that word? Yeah, that's right. I see 4 letters. The next word I want you to look for is the word in. I put him in the bathtub. In. I put him in the bathtub. I think I see it some other place in our poem too. He had a bubble in his throat. There's that word in again. Let's circle it. All right, first graders, the next word I want you to look for is the word had. Had. Do you see it in our poem? That's right, down at the bottom. He had a bubble in his throat. Let's circle that word had. The next word I want you to look for is the word and. And. That's right, you found it. Good job. And when he tried to talk, there's that word and. Okay. The last word I want us to look for is the word he. He. He drank up all the water. There's that word he. Oh. My gosh, Rashid is reminding me to look carefully. He says he sees the word he several times in our poem. Do you see it? Look at that. To see if he could swim. There's that word he. And here it is again. He gobbled up the soap. Did we get them all? Rashid says there's one more we should be looking for. I think I found it. Did you find it? And when he tried to talk, there's that word he. Wow, how many times did we find that word he? Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Rashid's telling me we missed one. Do you see it? He had a bubble in his throat. Oh my goodness. 5 times in our poem, 5 times we have that word he. Wow. Well done, first graders. Rashid and I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the poem as much as we did. See you next time. Bye.
Hey friends, my name is Misha, and today I will be reading a story to you called The Magic Bike. In this story, a character named Jaden receives a letter in the mail that says that he had won a contest and that his prize was on the way. This was kind of weird because he had never joined a contest. So let's read to see what happens. The Magic Bike. Written by Anne Weil, illustrated by Tad Butler. Click, plop, a letter fell through the mail slot. Jaden looked up. His parents were still asleep. It was early Sunday morning. We don't usually get mail on Sunday, Jaden said to the cat. Jaden picked up the envelope. His name was on it, so he opened it. You are a winner of the Big Wow contest. First prize, a box of cereal. Second prize, a juice box. Third prize, a magic bike. Your Big Wow prize is on its way. I wonder what his prize will be. That's strange, Jaden said to the cat. I didn't enter a contest. He wondered which prize he would get. Two days later, a big box was waiting for Jaden when he got home. He opened it. What do you think is inside the big box? This must be the magic bike, Jaden said. He got on and began to pedal. It's a nice bike, but what's so magic about it? Jaden wondered. He took the bike and the box inside. Then he saw that there were instructions in the box. To turn on magic bike, say the magic word abracadabra backward. Can you try saying that backward? Arb, ad, ek, arb, Jaden said slowly. The bike started to glow. Then it began to move by itself. Jaden quickly jumped on. The bike took off like a rocket and took Jaden with it. Jaden rode the magic bike upside down on the ceiling. Then it went down one wall and up another. What do you think is going to happen next? Finally, the bike stopped. There were tire prints everywhere. Uh-oh, Jaden said. I'm going to be in big trouble. Jaden cleaned up. He put the magic bike back into its box. Hey Jaden, called Pat. Do you want to ride your bike with me? No thanks, said Jaden. I think I'll stick with walking. The box says return to sender. Why do you think Jaden is planning on returning the bike to its sender? Will you share your thoughts with someone in your family? Thank you so much for reading with me today. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope that you could take the story and retell the important parts to someone. Thank you again. I'll see you next time.
Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Trainer. I am the resource teacher for the gifted at McKinley Elementary School here in Arlington Public Schools. I want to start by saying thank you for tuning in, and I hope that this video finds you and your family well and healthy. In this video, we're going to be talking about a strategy called plus minus interesting, and the reason I selected it in relation to this story, the magic bike. In the story, character Jaden finds out that he is the winner of the Big Wow contest, and he winds up winning the magic bike. Now, the magic bike was very exciting, but it definitely had some drawbacks. As you can see, it drove all over his living room. In the end, even though it was pretty interesting to have the bike, Jaden decided it was best if he sent it back. As I read this story, I made a lot of connections between my own life and Jaden's life in the story. When I was younger, I loved having the big wheels. I drove all up and down my driveway going as fast as I could. When I was a little bit older, I really wanted a bicycle, and a particular bicycle called a Mongoose. And you can see a picture of it. That's actually the bike that I wanted. I found a picture of it from 1985 when I was in 4th grade. That was the bike that I really, really wanted. When I was a little bit older, I decided that I was interested in trying out skateboarding, and I found the actual skateboard that I wanted to have when I was probably about 12 years old. Now, this was a big decision for me, and I had to figure out what were going to be some of the good things and maybe some of the not so good things, and maybe what was going to be really interesting about trying skateboarding. And when I thought about that, when I made that connection, that's how I decided on this particular critical and creative thinking strategy that we're going to connect to the story, the magic bike. So what exactly is the plus minus interesting strategy? Well, PMI, which is sort of a short way of thinking about plus minus interesting, is essentially a way that we can be really thoughtful when we make a decision. It allows us to think about all different, aspects of a particular situation, or maybe a problem, or a choice that we have to make. And it allows us to think about not only the good things, but maybe some of the bad things that might come along with that problem or that situation or the thing that we are interested in getting. And then we can also make connections to the things that we might find interesting about it. So that kind of explains the plus, the minus, and the interesting. So why might we consider using this strategy? Well, one is because learning to think about different sides of an issue is very important for learners. The second reason we want to consider using this is to convey the idea that when we think about the goods and the bads of an issue, we can really kind of get clarity around what it is that we're kind of thinking about and wondering about. And then the third reason is that when we consider all of these different issues, whether it's things we like or don't like or what we're interested in, sometimes that opens like new doors to our thinking. Or it might pose new questions that will help us get even more clarity around the topic that we're wondering about. In just a moment, we're going to try to make our own plus, minus, and interesting chart. And in order to do that, we need a few materials. Maybe a piece of paper, and a pencil or a pen, and you'll make a chart that looks just like the one that you see on your screen, with 3 columns and 2 rows with the headings plus, minus, and interesting. Now, in the story, you might remember that on one particular page, Jaden got a note that said he was the winner of a big contest. Well, I've taken that same idea, and we are going to imagine that we are the winners of the Dream Backyard Contest. And there are 3 prizes: a bounce castle, a tree house, and a swimming pool. Now, if you're thinking, well, I don't have room for that in my backyard. I don't have a backyard. Well, my backyard is really tiny. I don't really have a backyard either. We just have a little patio that we use. So I'm imagining, since it's magic, I'm going to imagine that I could fit all of these things in my backyard. Now I have to make a choice. I have to pick one. So in the story, it seemed like Jaden just got one. But in our activity today, we're going to think about, which one would I pick? Which one, if I had to choose one, which one might I want? So do that just now. If you had to pick one, the bouncy castle, the tree house, or that big swimming pool, what would be your choice? I'll give everyone some think time. I know that I haven't been outside very much lately, so I'm really thinking that, I don't know, that pool seems pretty nice. I don't know, the tree house seems nice too. So many tough choices. So we're going to think about this a little bit more, and I'm going to show you how we're going to organize our thinking so we can consider all different sides before we make our final decision. Okay, now it is time for us to make some PMI charts and figure out which of these 3 prizes we want the most. So we're going to start with the bounce castle. What might be some of the pluses and some of the minuses and some of the interesting things about having a bounce castle in your backyard? Remember, if you can't fit it, it's magic. It fits. We're going to pretend that it does. So, a plus. What might be something enjoyable about having a bouncy castle in your backyard? Take a moment to think, and I'll think as well, because adults like bounce castles too. Okay, maybe you have this in common with me. My son, who's a little bit older, he's in 3rd grade, he just seems like he wants to burn off as much energy as he can, and he wants to do it inside. Well, the bouncy castle will be a great solution for him. He could bounce and bounce and bounce and get all of his energy outside. Another plus was just that it's outside. I mean, we don't always get to spend a lot of time outside because my son doesn't feel like there's a lot to do. We have a very small space to play, so that would be just the benefit of being outside would be a plus. What's another plus? I think my son has been on them before, and he loves to just bounce and laugh, and those are all good reasons to have the bounce castle, so maybe that would be on there. All right, a minus. Why wouldn't you? You got all those great reasons to have it. Why wouldn't you want to have it? Let me think. You can think while I'm thinking. Okay, I have an idea. Maybe you agree with me on this one. All the times that I've ever seen kids playing in a bounce house, there's lots of kids. I think that's part of the fun. It's bouncing and like smashing into each other. And if it's just him, maybe it's not as fun to bounce by yourself. So maybe that's a minus of having the bounce house. What else would be a minus? Okay, now kids don't always think this way, but maybe adults do. Sometimes I think I get a little worried that my son's gonna get hurt. Like he's flying around in all these strange angles and he just goes flying into a net or flying into someone else. Well, he does have a little sister, so maybe if they were in there together, they could bump into each other. So maybe that's a reason not to have it. What would be interesting? Ooh, okay. Usually, bouncy castles are only open during the day. But what if you did nighttime, like with the moonlight, and you had a moonlit moon bounce instead of like a bouncy castle? That to me might be really, really interesting. So I'm pretty intrigued. I think I like this idea of the bounce castle. But I can't make my decision yet because I haven't thought about the treehouse and I haven't thought about the swimming pool yet. So let's take a moment and think about the treehouse. All right, what would be a plus of having a treehouse? I'm gonna write it down. I think the same thing that I liked about the bounce castle is what I love about the treehouse. It is outside. We don't get outside as much as we normally do, so I definitely like that as a plus for my treehouse. Another plus. Okay. I think having a treehouse right now, tell me this, you might agree with me. If you have been in the same space as somebody else in your house a lot, like we all share the same house, being in a treehouse would give us a whole separate like place to be where we could be ourselves and have a book and just relax and not be near everybody. And maybe having our own space would be a plus. Third plus. I'm coming up with a lot of pluses, I find. We don't normally get to see the world from up on top of a tree, or not even on top of a tree, but the middle of a tree. I wonder what the world would be like from inside of a tree. That's a plus and sort of an interesting. It would be interesting to see what the neighborhood looked like from up in a tree house. Okay, are there any minuses to the tree house? I'm gonna have to think about this one because right now it's looking pretty good. Minus. Oh, okay. What if other animals came in? That would not be good. If I was in my treehouse and I said, what's that? And it was like a bird, no problem. But if something bigger crawled in, like a squirrel, I don't know that I think they were super cute if they were in the treehouse with me. So maybe that's a minus. But so far, I think treehouse might be in the lead. Okay, last one, swimming pool. Okay. What are the pluses of a swimming pool? Let's start. All right, outside for sure. That's all three of them, they're outside, that's awesome. Number two for me, diving boards and slides. It's just like super fun. I would love it. Number three, I don't know that I would need a lot of other people for that one. I think that's a plus since it's really just like our family. Maybe having a thing to do by myself and it's exercise, maybe that is good. That's another plus. A lot of pluses for the swimming pool too. All right, minuses of having a swimming pool. All right. Well, today it was super cold in the morning and it's still pretty cold. So I'm not gonna wanna go swimming unless it's like really warm. So having this really cool pool, but it being really cold out, maybe that's a big minus. Like don't really wanna swim when it's cold. What else might be a minus? We have a 2-year-old in our house. I would be worried about the 2-year-old near the pool. So maybe that's another minus. Interesting. What would be interesting? No, just having one. We didn't have a pool like this when I was growing up. So I'd be interested to see what sort of games we could play and how much fun our family could have if we had a pool. Okay? So now I've thought about all three. Maybe you've thought about all three as well. I have a pretty good idea of which one that I want. Which one do you think you would pick? As we finish this video, we'll give you just a couple different family engagement tips with actually a slight twist on how you could use this strategy. As we close the video, I thought we would connect the idea of the plus minus interesting strategy to an activity that kids in elementary school really seem to love, and we call them design challenges. Now, Arlington's created an at-home STEM resources, which you can kind of see on the screen here, that gives loads of open-ended engineering tasks that encourage invention and design, and the PMI strategy becomes a great way for kids to reflect on their original designs. So the pluses would be maybe what worked well in my design. The minus is, well, what didn't work so well? And then the interesting could be, what might I be interested in trying differently when I redesign? So this is a great way to build habits of perseverance and resilience and help kids see that failure is just part of the process of learning and just a mile marker on the road to success. So offering students play-based opportunities to do a lot of critical thinking and reflecting is a great way to try PMI at home.
Hi, first grade. I am so excited to practice some high frequency words with you today. So I took some ideas from the choice board and I just changed them up just a tiny bit, and I'm going to share some of those ideas with you today. I can't wait. So here we go. My first idea is a variation of the memory card game. The setup is exactly the same. So you will write your words on 2 note cards or 2 pieces of paper, just like I've done here in a very quick video to show you. So I do not cut this fast, I do not write this fast, but just to show you how the setup is exactly the same. Each word written on 2 cards, and then you're all ready for this variation. So once you have your cards ready, what you will do is just practice reading them, and then instead of laying them out in rows so that they are face down, they will stay face up, because the object of this memory card game is to match the like words and to read them quickly. So it's about being really quick. So let's practice. We're first just going to read them while I lay them down. Was, make, night, of, every, they, good, were. So with all the cards face up, you're going to quickly match them and read them. So let's get going. Here we go. Night, every, they, of, make, was, were, good. So that's one way to play the memory game. Another idea, if the weather is nice and your family gives you permission, is that you can take your high frequency words and make sidewalk chalk hopscotch. Let me show you in another very quick video. So you'll make your hopscotch squares, and then inside each square, you're gonna write one of your high frequency words. Then ta-da, you have a hopscotch. And then you can hop through each square and read the words as quickly as you can. So here we go. Want, where, didn't, laugh, from, don't, knew, help, why. All right, have fun.
Hi everyone, my name is Miss Velasco and I teach first grade at Ellis West Fleet Elementary, and today I am going to be reading you a nonfiction book called Earth's Water. Hope you enjoy. Before we get started, I wanted to show you a little scavenger hunt that I use to find different nonfiction text features in my classroom. So most nonfiction books have a table of contents. They have bold print. They typically have photographs, They have maps, captions underneath the pictures, different labels, and a glossary. So while I'm reading, I want you to try to see if you can find some of these different nonfiction text features.
Earth's Water, written by Catherine Scraper. Focus question: why is water important? Words to know: evaporation, gas, invisible, liquid, polluted, solid. Table of contents: water everywhere, page 4. Different forms of water, page 7. Changing water, page 11. Water is important, page 14. Glossary, page 16. Water everywhere. Water is in ponds, lakes, and oceans. It flows in rivers and streams. It is in the air and frozen as snow and ice. Most of Earth is covered with water. Plants and animals need water to live. The dark parts in this picture of Earth are water. What are some ways you use Earth's water? Different forms of water. Most of the water we see is a liquid. Liquid water takes the shape of the container it is in. Each of these containers holds 4 cups of water. Not all water is liquid. When water gets very cold, it freezes. It becomes solid. Solid water is called ice. Ice can be carved into many shapes. Much of Earth's frozen water is at the North and South poles. Sheets of ice cover Earth's South Pole. Some of Earth's water is invisible. It is in the air. This water is a gas. What forms of water can you see in this picture? Changing water. Water is always changing. When frozen water is heated, it melts. It changes to a liquid. When liquid water gets cold, it freezes. It changes to ice. The sunlight heats up the snow and the snowman melts. Have you ever seen a puddle of water dry up on a hot day? Energy from the sun changed the liquid water into a gas. This is called evaporation. When invisible water in the air gets cold, it can make clouds. Clouds are tiny drops of liquid water. Those drops can get bigger. Then they fall as rain. Clouds drop water on the desert as rain. Water is important. Rain keeps plants alive. We fight fires with water. Animals take baths in water. It is important to take care of Earth's water. Polluted water makes people, plants, and animals sick. Would you want to drink and play in polluted water? And the top picture is polluted water, and the bottom one is not polluted. And when I saw those pictures, it made me think of the book, The Lorax. It's the connection I made. Glossary. Evaporation, the change of water from a liquid to a gas as a result of getting warmer. So that's if there was a puddle outside and it was a really hot day. If you came back in a few hours, the puddle would probably be a lot smaller. Gas, matter that can freely change shape and size. Often it can't be seen. That could be like a balloon, a helium balloon, or just the gas in the air. Invisible, unable to be seen. Liquid, matter that is able to flow and change shape while keeping its size. So that could be water, juice, soda. Polluted, made dirty or harmful. Solid, having a firm or hard form or shape. And so if we were talking about water, water in the form of a solid would be ice.
So today I'm really excited to be able to do a quick experiment with you guys. I typically do one experiment with my class every week because science is one of my favorite things to teach. So today for this experiment, if you wanted to try this at home, I have vinegar. Why do I have so much vinegar? I use this in my classroom because we made a lot of volcanoes. I'm gonna need some baking soda, and I have a funnel, a balloon, and this spray bottle bottom. So the first thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my vinegar and And I'm going to carefully pour it into my spray. It up maybe 1/4 of the way. Then I'm going to take my balloon, and this is the easiest way to get baking soda into a balloon. Take my funnel and push it all the way down there. And then I'm going to slowly start dumping some baking soda in there. Shake it around. Shake it around until it's all in there. And then I'm going to roll the balloon off. I'm going to take it. And so this vinegar would be a liquid because it takes the shape of a bottle. Oh, here's my assistant Charlie. The baking soda would be a solid, and we are going to make a chemical reaction that shows us a gas. So I'm going to flip it over here. And as you see, once the baking soda mixes with the vinegar, it blows up the balloon.
Hola! I'm Mrs. Cordero, a Young Scholars Instructional Coach at Carlin Springs Elementary School. Thanks for joining us here at Home with APS. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the thinking fun. I have lots of powers, and today I'm wearing my Super Thinking Power Cape. Today I'm going to share an activity that will build your thinking power. Are you ready? Let's go, Super Thinkers! Today, we will be using the nonfiction text, Earth's Water, to build our thinking power and make our brains even stronger. We will work through 3 levels of challenge. For our Thinking Power Challenge 2, we'll start with Level 1, Facts. Level 2, Classifications. And finally, Level 3, Generalisations. So let's get started. Level 1, Facts. We are going to be thinking about facts from our book, Earth's Water. A fact is true information from the book. Let's read a page from the book. Most of the earth is covered with water. Plants and animals need water to live. A fact from the text is, the earth is mostly covered with water. I got that fact from reading the words on the page. Let's look at another page. Different forms of water. Most of the water we see is a liquid. Liquid water takes the shape of the container it is in. What is a fact from this page? I'm thinking most water is a liquid. Can you think of another fact from this page? You probably thought of some different facts from this page. There is more than one fact on this page. For today's activity, I'm going to use the fact most water is a liquid. Let's look at another page. Not all water is liquid. When water gets very cold, it freezes. It becomes solid. Solid water is called ice. Can you think of one or more facts from this page? I bet you can. Here's the one I've picked. Solid water is ice. Let's try another page. Let's look for a fact from this page. Some of the Earth's water is invisible. It is in the air. This water is a gas. Go ahead. Find Find a fact from this page. Here's the one I came up with. Water in the air is a gas. That is a fact from this page. The words told me. Let's try another one. Have you ever seen a puddle of water dry up on a hot day? Energy from the sun changed the liquid water into a gas. This is called evaporation. Can you think of a fact from this page? I did. Here's the one I came up with. Evaporation is when water turns into a gas. Did you come up with this one? Or did you come up with another fact? Let's try one more page. When invisible water in the air gets cold, it can make clouds. Clouds are tiny drops of liquid water. Those drops can get bigger. Then they fall as rain. Go ahead. Find a fact from this page. Here's the one I came up with. Clouds are made of tiny drops of water. We have found 6 facts from our book, Earth's Water. I bet you could find many more. Every time you read a nonfiction text, you can find facts from the text. Information from the book that is true. Woohoo! You have now completed Level 1. Let's go to Level 2. For Level 2, we're going to talk about classifications. Classification is how facts can be grouped together. Here are some facts that we found in Level 1. We are going to put these facts into categories. Let's try putting them into 2 different categories. I have 2 buckets to help us. What should I call these categories? Well, I know the whole book is about water, so I'm probably going to want to use the word water. What was the book trying to tell us about water? Well, some of the facts were telling us where water was, and some of the facts were telling us about how it looks different and changes. I think I'll make my categories finding water and changing water. Yes, I like that. Now, let's put the facts into the correct baskets. Evaporation is when water turns into a gas. Which group should that one go into? It says the word turns into a gas. That means it's changing. I think I'm going to put evaporation is when water turns into a gas into the changing water category. Yes, that's good. Let's try another one. The earth is mostly covered in water. Where should I put that one? Does it go with finding water or changing water? I think it's going to go with finding water because it's telling us where water is all over the earth. Let's put it in that basket. Let's try another one. Solid water is ice. Where should that one go? Did you say changing water? I did too, because it tells how water changes when it is solid. Let's try another one. Clouds are made of tiny drops of water. Where do you want to put this one? Finding water or changing water? Did you say finding water? I did too. You can find water in clouds because that's what they're made of. Most water is a liquid. Where should we put that one? That's a little tricky. Did you decide finding water? Because the water around us is mostly a liquid, so we can find water when we look for a liquid water. But maybe you would have put it in changing water. As long as you have a reason for why you put it in the category, it will work. Here's our last one. Water in the air is a gas. Where should that one go? Well, it is telling that water changes in the air because it's a gas when it's in the air. But it's also where you find water. You find water in the air. Where should I put it? I put it in changing water. But I also could understand why you might put it in finding water. Remember, as long as you can explain why you put it in the category, it will probably work in that category. Yay! You've now completed level 2. Hip hip hooray for you! Now let's go to level 3. Generalizations. For level 3, we are going to think about generalizations. A generalization is a sentence that tells what the book is about from the information in the book. We will think about the facts we classified into 2 groups, finding water and changing water. It also helps to think about the title of the book, Earth's Water, and to read the table of contents to give you an idea what a good generalization might be. Here's the table of contents. Water everywhere, different forms of water, changing water, water is important, and then the glossary. We should start our generalization with the word water because that is what the book is about. Water is what? Well, our book did tell us that water is everywhere, and it comes in different forms. So let's start with that. Water is everywhere in different forms, and what else did the book tell us? I saw a clue in the table of contents. Water is important. I'm going to use that. Water is everywhere in different forms and is important to life on Earth. That is a generalization about our book, Earth's Water. Yay! You have completed level 3. Way to go, super thinker. Super thinkers, keep thinking. When you're reading a nonfiction text with your parents, you can try our 3 levels of learning. Level 1, think of the facts from the nonfiction book. 2, try to classify the facts into different groups. Level 3, then think about the facts, the topic of the book, to make generalizations. Challenge your parents to level up when you read together. Thanks again for joining us for At Home with APS. Bye!
Hi, my name's Megan Hygis, and I'm one of the reading teachers at Barrett Elementary, and I'm here with your literacy tip. Today I'm going to show you a fun way to teach your child a new high-frequency word. High-frequency words are words that occur often in texts. Some of them are decodable, meaning that children can sound them out, and some of them are not. So today the method I'm teaching you has 4 steps to it. The first step is to study the word. Estudia la palabra. So ask your child, what's the first letter? What's the last letter? ¿Cuál es la primera letra? ¿Cuál es la última letra? The second step is to play what's missing and to cover one of the letters and have your child guess what's missing. ¿Qué letra falta? Then the third step is to mix and fix the letters. You can cut them up into letters, or if you have magnetic letters, that works too. And the children fix and make the word. Haz la palabra. The fourth step is to have your child write and or read the word. Escribe o lee la palabra. So I'm going to demonstrate these steps with my daughter, Ellie. Ellie, come on up. Okay. Ellie, here is the word they.
They.
Okay, we're going to study the word first. How many letters does it have?
4.
4 letters. What's the first letter in the word they?
T.
What's the last letter in the word they? That one's a Y.
Y.
What's the last letter in the word they?
Y.
Nice job. Now we're going to play what's missing. Okay? Close your eyes. If you have a a whiteboard, you can erase the letters like this, or you can just cover them up on a piece of paper. Okay, Ellie, what's missing?
The E.
And read it.
The. They.
They. Nice job. Notice I'm having her read it and I'm repeating it often to get her to learn the word. Okay, now what letter is missing?
H.
Okay, and read it.
They.
Okay, now I have all the letters in the word they, Ellie, and I'm going to mix them up, and I want you to make the word they. Ready? Go. You don't have to use Post-its. You can just use little pieces of paper. Or, again, magnetic letters if you have them. Okay, Ellie, and read it.
They.
Nice. Now, I would like you to write the word they. You can also have your child write the word in a sentence. You can have your child read a book with the words. If you have some books that are a little too hard for your child, they can still look for the word they on a page and find it. Okay, and read it, Ellie.
They.
Nice job. Okay, so those are the 4 steps to teaching your child a new high-frequency word. I got this high-frequency word from the list of high-frequency words on the May calendar, so that's a great place to go to find them. All right, happy reading.
Hey first graders, my name is Miss Brown and I'm a first grade teacher at Hoffman Boston. I'm super excited for the first episode of Math on Your TV and I hope you are too. So to get us started, we have a little warm-up activity. So here, there's a big splat covering some dots and we know that all together there are 10 dots, okay? I put that up here in the equation so we know that all of the dots equal 10. Right now, we can only see that there's 3 dots. So we know that one of our numbers is 3. We're just not sure what that second number is. How do you think we could figure it out? One way would be to count on. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7 more would equal 10. Can you think of any other ways to solve it? One other way we could try would be subtraction. So if we have 10 here and we take away 3, how many would that give us? Let's try it. 10, 9, 8, 7. So under the splat, there could be 7 dots. Great job. So today during math, we're going to be talking about groups of 10s and 1s. Here, I have a loose group of 1s, and they're all in different circles. And as you can see, there's a lot, so counting them up would take a lot more time. What we're going to do is we're going to organize those circles into groups of 10s and 1s. To do that, I have some 10 frames on our chart that we're going to fill in. Will you help me count to put them in the 10 frame? Thanks. So as I move it over, count how many it is. When I fill a 10 frame, clap your hands just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So right now we have one full 10 frame and we still have some loose 1s over here. Let's keep going. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're almost done. We have 2 full 10 frames. 21, 22, 23, and the last one, 24. Awesome. As you can see, we didn't fill in this last 10 frame, but it's still important to know that there are circles in there that still count towards our total. Now, we need to figure out how many full groups of 10 there are. To do that, we're going to take a look at how many of our 10 frames are completely full. How many groups of 10 do you think we have? Right, there's 2. One full 10 frame and another full 10 frame. That's going to go in the tens place on our number. Well, we're not done yet because we still have to count these last ones. This 10 frame is not full, so we can't count by tens to count them up. We're going to count by 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 leftover 1s that can't fill a 10 frame, so they're going to go in our 1s place. So if we have 2 groups of 10 and 4 leftover 1s, what number does that create? 24, exactly. Another way to count it would be to count by 10s and then count our 1s. Let's try it. 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Awesome. Can you think of any other ways we could count up our group of circles? One way I was thinking of would be to count by 5s. As you can see, this top group is a group of 5. It's half of 10. So let's count by 5 for every full row of 5 that we see. 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, this isn't full, so I have to count by 1s. 21, 22, 23, 24. There's still 24 there. Great job. The last thing we're going to do today is play a game. All you need is a deck of cards or some number cards that you might have seen in our packet. If you're going to use a deck of cards like I am, just take out the 10s, jacks, queens, kings, and aces. Keep all of the numbers less than 9. Once you have the cards ready, put them in a pile. All right, you can play this game by yourself or you could play with a partner. I'm going to pretend that I'm playing with a partner. So if I'm going first, I'm going to pick up my first number and see that it's a 4. Then I'm going to pick up my other number. It's a 7. If I have 4 10s and 7 1s, that makes the number 47. This is going to be important after my partner's turn, so I want to put them down right where we can see them. Then it's my partner's turn. An 8 and a 6. That makes 86. Now it's time to compare these two numbers. If I had 47 and my partner got 86, who had the bigger number? Well, I know that 8 groups of 10 is greater than only 4 groups of 10, so my partner got the bigger number. That means they would get to keep all of the cards. Let me show you one more time. If I have a 2 in my 10s and then a 4 in my 1s, what number would that make? 24. All right, now it's my partner's turn. A 7 in the 10s and an 8 in the 1s. What would that make? 78. Time to compare them. Who got the greater number? 78 or 24? 78 is greater. There's 7 groups of 10, and in my number, there's only 2. So my partner would have won again. We could keep playing this until we go through all of the cards. And then at the end, we could compare to see who got more cards. And that person would be the winner. I hope you enjoy that game and get a chance to try it out. The last thing we're going to do is take a look at 2 different groups of numbers. Okay. Under A in the purple, this person put them into groups of 10 in a 10 frame. Over here in the green under B is just some loose dots. Which group do you think has more dots? Let's take a look. We know that a full 10 frame, we don't have to count each one. We can just say 10 and then count on. So 10, 11. Okay. A has 11 dots. Let's count up B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh. B also has 11 dots. They are equal. Which one did you think looked like more? Why did you think that one had more? Which one did you think was easier to count up? There are so many ways that we can look at numbers and we can count them. And the really awesome thing about numbers is that they are everywhere we go. So it doesn't matter if you're walking down the street and looking at street signs or house numbers, or if you're sitting around with your family and you ask them how old they are. There are numbers everywhere. And every time you hear a new number, think about how many groups of 10 there are and how many groups of 1. I hope you had fun today. It was great teaching you guys some math, and know that wherever you are, wherever your teacher is, they miss you so much and they cannot wait to see you again. Have a wonderful day.
As we end this episode of At Home with APS, we hope that you enjoyed seeing APS teachers and staff bringing literacy and mathematics instruction into your own home. Maybe you even got to see one of the teachers that you work with during the school year. I'm sure that was really exciting for you. So we invite you, parents and families, to continue to take videos and pictures of how you are engaging in literacy and mathematics activities while at home. Be sure to connect with us using whatever social media outlet you prefer, using the hashtag @HomeWithAPS, and we look forward to seeing all of the creative and exciting ways APS students and families are engaging with all different types of learning while at home. And who knows, maybe you can make a special guest appearance on At Home with APS. Speaking of which, check out this dedicated APS student as she practices hearing all the sounds in the word
box.
Box.
Until our next episode of At Home with APS, we ask that you stay safe, stay healthy, Arlington, and we look forward to seeing you again next week for a new edition of At Home with APS.